Welcome back, guys. Good evening, morning, day, night, afternoon to all the beautiful people listening right now. What's good, y'all? It is Sunday Fun Day, as they call it. Sunday Fun Day. Yeah. So I have an awesome podcast for you guys today. And if you have any topic requests, any suggestions, any concerns, any shout outs that you'd like, any features that you would like to see on this page, if you'd like to be a feature yourself, if you'd like to be added to the subscription to receive these podcasts and these messages first and foremost, hit me up. Direct message on Instagram, Agent K21 Podcast, or Instagram or Twitter, Agent K21. Send me a text, send me an email, fax me, however. And hit me up. Let me know what you guys think, what you guys want to hear. We are winding down the season, y'all. It is wind down time for the season. So, Sunday Fun Day. Talking about a topic that I've hinted on before, but it came up again today. I was driving and I was like, you know what? I'm going to talk about the G.P.S. today. The G.P.S. What does G.P.S. stand for? G.P.S. stands for God's Protection Service. Yes, that's what I think it stands for, at least. What it really stands for, I'm not sure. I'm not even going to look it up. But we're going to talk about the G.P.S. today. I get so many revelations and so many downloads just from ordinary life all the time. So I said, you know what? It's Sunday Fun Day. Let's talk about it. So for those who don't believe in a higher power, this episode may not be for you. Those who do resonate with the higher power, this episode still might not be for you, but we are talking about God's source universe. Whatever you call it is perfectly okay. Again, this is not a political debate about what or is or if God exists or any of that stuff. This is just the terminology that I'm using. And if it sits well with you, go on and listen. If it doesn't, I'll see you next time. So G.P.S., God's Protection Service. So a while ago, I had this revelation that it doesn't matter what path you take. When you're driving and you got your GPS going, it gives you several different routes. Say it gives you 3 routes. One might take 30 minutes, one might take 23 minutes, one might take an hour. And you can choose which path you want. And based on that path, it will get you to your destination no matter what. So it doesn't matter which path you take, the destination always remains the same. So no matter which path you take, your destination or your destiny is always going to remain the same. So for anyone who feels like you're not where you want to be, or things are not going as quickly, or just feeling any type of doubt, let all of that go. Take a deep breath and let all that fear, let all those insecurities, let all the doubt go. Because no, you may not be there right now. You may have these dreams, visions, whatever that you want to accomplish in this life. And if you are here breathing and listening to this audio, your dreams are more than possible and they are going to manifest. So keep your faith bigger than your fears. And no matter what path you take, your destination will remain the same. So fear not. You were born to create greatness. You were born to live a life of wholeness and continue to vibrate higher. Continue to keep your spirits high, your head high, yourself high. And you're going to accomplish all those things. Now, I had this example come to mind. And I don't know why I think about this episode in particular, because I found it really fascinating. But there's a show called Yu Yu Hakusho. It's actually my favorite anime show. And during one of the sagas, the enemy, the bad guy, is like, hey, someone from your good guy team is going to actually help me complete my mission. So for those who haven't seen it, there's going to be spoiler alerts. This is an old anime show. So if you haven't seen it, go back and check it out. But Yu Yu Hakusho, 1992, favorite anime show. One of the episodes, one of the bad guys needs someone from the good team. And his plan, his scheme is that he wants to bridge the gap between human world and demon world. And there's a barrier that a Kakaya barrier that keeps the separation. And there's only one person, there's a warrior who can slice through that barrier with his sword. Now, this character doesn't even realize that he has that power. He doesn't even realize he has that capability yet. But the bad guys do. And they're like, oh, we need you because you can slice through dimensions. We need you. And you know, this character is like always being picked on as the weakest link, if you will. So he doesn't realize how powerful he is. And so the bad guys had planned, it's kind of crazy, but I always think about this because it's like, it still happened. It didn't happen the way they might have planned, but it still happened. And it always is like, I don't know why I always think about this, but the bad guys capture him, and the plan was for, you know, them to absorb his power and then to use it against them. I'll just put it like that. But that didn't happen because, you know, the good guys always win. So the good guys come and they save him. And lo and behold, he still ends up cutting the barrier. Now, I'll save maybe that for a whole nother episode. Maybe I'll just tell you. But he still cuts the barrier because one of the good guys decides he's able to go through the barrier because he realized he's actually a demon. So he's actually able to cross over into demon world. And the person who has this power is a human, so he cannot cross over to this world. But in order to save his friends, he still cuts the barrier. And I always just found that very fascinating. If you haven't seen that, I would say go check it out. So it doesn't matter which path you take. No matter how many times your GPS reroutes, your destination is always going to remain the same. And so you might be on the path right now. You might feel lost. You might feel overwhelmed. You might feel like you're on the wrong path. But let me just say, there is no wrong path. Excuse me. There is no wrong path. If you find yourself on the path, you're right where you need to be. And release resistance to that path being judged as wrong or misconstrued as a mistake or an accident or how did you get there? You're there because you're needed there. And so when you focus on releasing your resistance and surrendering to the universe has you right where it wants you. There's nothing that catches the universe, source, God by surprise. So if you are where you are and you feel like you should be somewhere else, embrace the moment, embrace living in the moment and realizing that you're right where you need to be. And so, you know, life will come and test you, and there'll be roadblocks, detours, and wrong turns made, and U-turns, and etc. You might get off on the wrong exit. But the GPS will always reroute and get you right back where you need to go. So just remember that God's protection service will always get you right where you need to be at the right time in the right place. And, you know, it could be frustrating to you on the surface thinking, I took a wrong turn and now I'm going to be 10 minutes late for this meeting. Well, you don't know what the GPS had in mind. And, you know, yeah, things happen. You know, we take the wrong turn, we make a careless error. But even that, there's a lesson in that. So don't be too hard on yourself if you feel like you've taken the wrong turn or you've made mistakes, quote unquote. Nothing is a mistake. There are no accidents. Everything is divine and ordered for you. And so if you don't know which way to go, my advice is to keep going in the direction you're going in. Because again, that GPS is going to reroute it for you. And so this is actually true story today. I'm in the car and she says, hey, I don't know which way to go. Can anyone read this? Where should we go? Like, which direction should we start in? I told her, just keep going in the direction you're going in. And then we did. And the navigation automatically says, you know, make a turn here instead. You know, we could have turned around. We could have made another turn. We could have just stayed stuck. And I feel like so many times when we don't know which way to go, we either get confused, we either stay stuck, we either take liberty on our own, if you will, and say, I'm just going to turn around. I don't know which way it's going. I'm just going to turn around. You know, but if you don't really focus on trying to figure it out, you'll end up right where you need to be. And so if you don't know where you're going, just keep going. You don't need to know where you're going. All you need to know is that you're on the way. All you need to know is that you're going. And trust and believe that you will end up right where you need to be. And so no matter which path you take, your destination will remain. If you don't know which way you're going, keep going. If your path gets redirected, continue to trust your reroute. The next thing I want to mention is that if you can't read a map, as most of us millennials and Generation Z and newbies didn't have to grow up reading maps. And now, I've shared this in a previous podcast, but when I was younger, we used to travel a lot. We used to travel road, country, crossroad, all of that. I thoroughly enjoy a road trip. So if you're going on a road trip, sign me up because I'm down. I will drive. I will sleep. Not behind the wheel. I will drive. I will ride and sleep. I will, I'm down for the road trips. So yeah, got some road trips coming up and got some tours coming up and some road trips. I believe it. And so as a kid, I remember being so admired by watching my guardians, watching them read a map. And I just would be like, wow, I want to do that. And I was, like a kid, and I'm just like, that looks so complicated, but yet I feel so drawn to wanting to read a map. And so just for fun, go get yourself an atlas. Go get yourself a map. I know all my Walking Dead fans, where you at? Holla at me. I know all the zombie apocalyptic people, they probably got containers filled with maps of every state because, I don't see that that's how the world's going to end. But for those who think that that's how the world's going to end, rack up on your maps, rack up on everything that, is beneficial for us. Mathematics, maps, atlases, encyclopedias, all the things that we've taken for granted that, we might need again one day. Who knows? So anyway, if you can't read a map, that's what the GPS is for. Let that GPS guide you. It'll speak to you. It'll show you the way. It will highlight the way for you. And so you don't have to worry about reading a map. And, thank goodness for our generation. We don't have to necessarily, I don't know if it's thank goodness or, I don't know which one, but I choose to believe that, the technology has helped us in a lot of ways. And, nothing's perfect. So we'll get into technology another day. But trust the route. Trust the GPS, but also trust yourself. So the next point I want to mention out is you got to trust yourself also. The GPS sometimes will lead you in a roundabout way. How many people have had that happen? And you're sitting there looking at the GPS like, really? You took me in a whole circle? You could have just told me to make it, so if you've been in that situation where you've followed the GPS so trustingly that you disregard yourself when you know the route, you know the way to get to 7-Eleven down the street. But you say, I'm going to just trust the GPS so blindly that when it takes me, 3 steps out of the way and 7 streets down the street, I'm going to continue to follow that because I trust the GPS so much. Now, you definitely have to have faith and trust, but you also have to trust yourself. Now, when it comes to God's source universe is inside of you. It's not an outside job. It's inside of you, and that is where you get your free will. So yes, trust the universe, trust source, trust God. But if things are right there in your face, it's your choice to use your free will and yield your free will anyway. So the honest mistake some of us can make is just leaning on fate. Leaning so dependently on fate. I'm just going to wait for, my blessing. Okay, God already showed you the blessing. It's your chance now to take action, because faith without works is dead. So a lot of times we might kind of wait for the universe and for source to act on our behalf, which is not going to happen. So when it comes to trusting the GPS, yes, trust the GPS, absolutely. But you also have free will. you also have choice. You also have power. And that negates the GPS, that oversees the GPS, because the God's protection service is always within you, operating within you. So if you know better, do better. If you know the way, you don't have to lean and depend on the GPS, especially when you see that it's taking you in a circle. And my next point is, we don't always know the reason why the GPS does what the GPS does. In the same way, why we may not know the mysteries of the universe, the mysteries of God's source, universe, energy. We may not understand why we had to go 7 blocks down the street to get to the place that was right in front of us. And in those moments, that is when you have that unreliable, I meant to say unshakable. Somehow unreliable came out. Let's go with the redirect though, right? Hey, on the spot. Unreliable. Let's talk about it. So where do you rely on? Do you rely on yourself, or do you rely on the universe? Huh? Let's talk about the unreliable energy that we put out there. And that's funny. Yeah, so that came out unreliable. Interesting. So yeah. That's where you have to guess and talk with your compasses. Do you think that your God, your source, your energy is unreliable? Are you putting out that energy of you can't trust the universe, you can't trust yourself, you can't trust God? Because you're going to see more of that show up in your reality. And so when you do trust that, hey, I needed to go in a circle, I don't know the reason why, but I believe this is the path I had to take, because this is where I'm at, And it goes back to that surrender of just accepting you're going in a circle right now. Even though you could have just, made a left turn here or whatever. It's really saying, how much do you trust the universe? So trust, faith, and free will, they all go hand in hand, because sometimes the GPS is not going to lead you in what you think is the best for yourself. But if you know that you're going to end up right where you need to be, and you have an unwavering faith that, hey, the GPS took me on a roundabout path, but what was avoided on this path? What was attained on this path? What lessons did I learn on this path? So remember to trust yourself. Remember to trust the GPS. And remember that you can't get it wrong. You can't make a wrong turn. You can't get this life wrong. So rest easy. Let all your anxiety, let all of your worries fade away, because you are under God's protection service. And that is all I'm going to talk about for today. So any topics that you guys have, no matter how ordinary they are, no matter how weird they are, no matter how different or how much you think people don't want to hear about it, let me know, because I want to hear about it. I want to hear what you guys are thinking. I want to talk about what you guys want to hear, and I want to learn. I want to learn more. So send me some topics, and yeah, I hope that everyone has a great rest of their evening, day, morning, night, wherever this is reaching you, whatever country this is reaching you in, whatever day this is reaching you on. This is a Sunday for me, but it may be a different day for you. So I hope that we will talk soon, and I will see you guys until next time.